Hey, what's happening, guys? Dan Darrow here with another Options to Play video update. So I just want to say sorry. I had a little bit of a technical glitch yesterday. Couldn't get out the video that I wanted to talk about. But today, really kind of like the same idea what I'm going to cover. And this actually ties into a video that I did a few weeks ago. So I don't know if you guys saw it or not. It was talking about basically the the relationship between implied volatility and historical volatility, right? And uh, at the time, I used Amazon, which I have up here as an example, saying that sometimes, a lot of people think of implied volatility as always being high, but in certain circumstances, the implied volatility may actually be lower than the historical level. Okay, so especially like a name, maybe like Amazon, that's typically a volatile stock. When it goes through a period of a consolidation, like it's seen over the last few months, the trading range is tightened. The overall action on a day-to-day basis is lower, and that leads to a lower implied volatility on the options. Okay, so I talked about how that can kind of influence the decision making and almost like set up like a trade opportunity. And what's interesting is that I mean, like these types of setups. I mean, they're not as uncommon as you would think. Sometimes it just it takes a little bit more looking, a little bit more searching, a little bit more screening to find them. And one that I think is kind of entering that window or the potential is EA. So the gaming stock, right? Actually, a couple of the gaming stocks similar. EA to me is one of the more interesting of the group. And what I have mocked up here is just kind of like the daily chart, right? And you can see that as like a nice little pennant that it's formed on basically going back to the December of last year, so like the last 12 months. And what you'll notice is that basically for like what, like a 9 to 10 month stretch, this has just been like really choppy, sideways, really can't do much of anything, right? Just kind of like stuck between 100 and 90. So what is typically a pretty volatile name. Like the gaming stocks last year had some really crazy actions, some really crazy moves. So what typically is a pretty volatile name has really seen like a long stretch of just choppy, smaller moves, smaller volatility, and what happened is not only is that built kind of like that coiled spring pattern, which I'm always looking for, but it's really sucked the implied volatility out of the options because the stock really hasn't had a lot of movement to it, right? So because the stock hasn't been moving, the implied volatility going forward starts to decrease. And while that doesn't necessarily create a setup on its own, what it does is it makes it kind of interesting when the stock looks like it's about to possibly break out or break down, like it right now, right? You can see that it's starting to move through the top of this multi-month consolidation, right? And it's getting near a pretty substantial breakout. And when I go to the options here, you can see what I'm talking about. So these are the March contracts. Let's start with the January. So you can see about 6 weeks out, give or take. And what I'm referencing here is the implied volatility, right? So these are the contracts. So these are like the calls, a couple points out of the money through January. So almost about 15 percentage points underneath its historical average, right? So 23.7 versus 38.45, right? So almost 15 points underneath its historical average. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that the stock basically has been sideways for 9 to 10 months, right? The moves have been smaller. The overall volatility in the stock has really collapsed as the stock has been range bound, right? Same thing with March. A little bit higher because the March options should go through the next earnings report. Almost definitely will go through the next earnings report. But even then, I mean, going out almost 4 months and through a pretty significant catalyst, right? The next earnings report, the options are still about 10 percentage points below their historical volatility, so the historical level. And again, a lot of that has to do with the fact that the stock has been so sideways, so range bound. And to me, like that creates kind of an interesting opportunity, right? Because it's the combination of an interesting technical setup, right, and options that are underpriced based off the historical pricing, right? So implied volatility is 10, potentially 15 percentage points below its historical level, and it's a stock, right, that's looking like it's about about to resolve a 9 to 10 month consolidation, right? So these are like the setups that I feel like they people they probably like think about it, they're looking at it, but they might not recognize like the option aspect to it, right? I mean, like from like a technical point of view, it might be hitting people's screen, might be hitting people's radar, but the option pricing, right? Like that's where we as option traders really start to kind of get interested, right? When you get like the nice technical combination, the nice technical move combining with like the option setup, right? So you get like a nice combination of both. So it's like the technical and the option aspect. And these are like the setups that I'm really always trying to screen for. I mean, they don't come around like every single day or every single week, but like these are the ones when they do pop up. I want to like highlight them. I want to like put them on your radar because like I think they're like interesting and definitely one of those more like option oriented trades where kind of sets up well with like the option pricing. All right. Um, so let me know what you think. EA, what you think of the chart, what you think of the setup. If you like these videos and you're looking for more trade ideas, you're looking for more maybe options education, please follow up with the link in the description of the video for more information on options in play. All right. So I hope you guys have a fantastic night, and I will talk to you all tomorrow.